Hi, I'm Ellis from Careers UK, and today on the Careers UK podcast, I'm joined by Kurti and Sham of our sales team, and today we're going to be discussing the topic of what do you think employers are looking for in today's working world. So, basically, guys, thank you for being here today. First thing I'm going to ask is basically, what skills do you think are wanted and needed by employers today in today's age?
So there's a mixture of soft skills and hard skills.
Yeah, I think your attitude, your softer skills, stuff that you can't really teach. You're either born with it or not. Your personality, your experience as well within that industry.
Yeah, definitely.
As compared to back in the day where academics counted for just about anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because hard skills can be anything from mathematics to writing to anything that can be taught or anything that can be visually seen. Whereas
so
soft
more
skills,
on the qualification aspects.
yeah. I mean, obviously soft skills as well. It's things like leadership or flexibility. Can a person be flexible? Can a person be a leader? That sort of thing.
Personality.
It's very much about personality.
Things you can't really teach someone necessarily.
Yeah, it's something like Sham said. It's something you're born with, something you've got to have, basically. Which is a really good thing to have. Really, those kinds of traits.
Yeah, it's necessary for today's world more so, with how things are quickly diversifying.
Yeah.
If you have the traditional scenario where everything was purely on the basis of your qualifications, what you've done, all those kind of the technical aspects. You found out that a lot of people are losing out from individuals that just needed the opportunity. Just needed the opportunity to just be taught the right thing, that have the natural skill set, that have the natural personality set as well, to kind of get the job done.
And it's experience as well within that entity, within that industry. It's quite.
It's quite important. A valuable thing. Next up, how do you think getting a job has changed? Do you think in the last 20 years, how do you think it's changed? And for like an example, digital era versus analog era, how do you think that's changed altogether? Because I was born in 2000, so I've seen analog, and I've seen digital, and a little bit, because all three of us now, we all live in the digital era now, so we all have had our personal experiences.
Well, technology is advanced. So that's one of the key things, really.
Because a lot of it now, like places like Indeed and things like that, they've really helped young people, people out of work and stuff like that, just find just general work, I think. And it's
there's lots of recruitment agencies now, a lot more compared to 20 years ago.
It's definitely changed, because I think the advancement of technology and kind of this new era we're in, it's made it, almost touching what we said before, it's opened up doors of opportunities for people otherwise wouldn't have had those opportunities. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was a whole lot about what you know, but now, as they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So it's changed. The networking has changed so much. Look, like LinkedIn. LinkedIn back in the day, it wasn't a thing to be considered of, but now, who you know could play a big ball game in what your career.
And they tend to approach you as well. They look at your history.
Back in the day, that never used to be the case.
And your work history, and they tend to approach you. I genuinely feel that it's easy to, when I mean easy, it's less challenging to get yourself forward for an interview, for a job. And that's because there's so many recruitment agencies out there, and they can help you find a job in your ideal profession or area of expertise. However, I feel the competition comes into place is actually in the interview, because there's so many recruiters putting so many people forward for these jobs, without realising it's creating it's been quite competitive then for that job role.
Yeah. I mean,
There's lots
I
of
think.
competition.
Yeah, I think as well that in the digital era now, you've got personalities like YouTubers and stuff that 20 years ago you never would have seen them. You never would have heard of.
That's a career now. You know
exactly,
what I mean?
Exactly.
Someone, I heard one of these younger
Yeah.
guys actually literally saying, "Look, I want to be an influencer on Instagram one day."
Yeah.
Back in the day, you used to dream to be an astronaut. You know, not knocking them or in any way, shape, or form. I think because of the advancement of technology, it's created so much opportunities in new markets. All of a sudden, now all of a sudden, something like digital marketing is actually a very, very huge thing.
Huge.
Yeah.
Social media marketing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know how much money companies would pay for someone that would do their social media marketing.
It's really, it's a truly
It's
massive thing.
networking is the next. It's more focused on now, isn't it? Because technology's advanced so much that there's not enough networking going on, I believe. So therefore, that's why social networking is a new in thing.
It's a new thing.
It's a new thing. In your personal experience, what have employers looked for in you? If you understand what I mean, what qualities have employers looked in you to beforehand? What personal experience have you had?
So I feel to get the foot in the door initially, it's the qualifications that's actually got my foot into the door.
Yeah.
But then in order for me to be successful at the interview or within the interview is the experience, the personality, how much research we've done on the company or entity, wherever we're having our interview.
Yeah.
I think these are the factors that play a part in your body language, your timings, punctuality, team working skills, as well as working alone. They're the kind of things that I know for a fact that has been assessed in an interview.
Yeah.
It's very different even for myself. I think due to the kind of career path I was in a lot of sales.
Yeah.
So the number one thing I found that a lot of employers looked for was my years of experience.
Yeah.
Who I've worked with, what industries they've been, and believe it or not, how my CV actually is presented. Because even in my CV, as a salesman, I have to sell myself.
Yeah, and they do tend to discuss the CV.
Yeah.
That they do have that in front. So when you've written your CV, you need to make sure you know your CV.
You know your
well.
CV in and out. You can't be putting stuff that you're half sure about.
Me myself personally, I've been through two CVs, no, three. I've been through quite a few actually. Because originally my first CV was really disorganised. It didn't look well at all. But then after I went for an interview with a place called Estio, they taught me how to basically, they taught me, but they showed me a website that could help make a good organised CV as well. Because your CV is really important when it comes to getting the job and stuff. But sometimes, in rare instances, CVs, sometimes people look more for experience than a CV. They'll talk about who you are as a person, how you are. It brings it back to soft skills. What soft skills have you got, and that sort of thing as well.
You gotta get your foot in the door at the end of the day. To be honest, get your foot in the door, and the rest.
Yeah.
I always say, your CV. It's the first thing that obviously an employer is going to see about you.
Yeah.
They've got to be thoroughly impressed.
Yes.
And they've got to want to see you in person.
Yeah.
And you've got to look like what your CV is saying you look like.
Yeah. You've got to match your CV.
You've got to match your CV, and I always try to tell a lot of people that ask for advice in regards to that. Your CV is, even from an employment perspective, when we're looking for people to recruit.
Yeah.
First, gonna look at your CV. Does your CV look, like you care?
Yeah.
Presentation.
Presentation. It says a lot, really. And then when you come in, I'm gonna be looking at your CV and thinking, is that what I read?
Is that what you read?
Yeah.
Is that what I want?
Yeah. Then if it's not what I read, then the first thing is it's a red flag to me.
Yeah.
Moving on to another personal experience. What's been the worst job interview you've gone to? And
I've had a bad one myself.
Well, I think for me it would
how
be
did it happen? How?
psychometric tests. Lots of tests. Then a final interview at the end. It's a long process. You know, it was more than the worst. I think it was really challenging.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure I was thoroughly prepared.
And yourself, Sean?
Well, mine, I think that interview actually is a big highlight in my life. It really kind of helped to put a turning point in my career. My original background is in telesales, telemarketing, and I'd got to a point where, as anyone in telesales, you get to a point where you're a bit fed up.
Yeah.
And you now need the next job within the sales career and the kind of pathway in sales. So I wanted to go into more account management, where I'm getting a bit of field experience, and that was my first move to go in. But even in account management, I really wanted something that's a lot more office based and a lot more admin rather than heavy sales on the phone. I just really gone through a point where I just didn't really want sales. Yeah. So I really wanted something that is almost heavy admin perspective and more admin account management type of stuff. Yeah. Went to the interview, fantastic, dressed well. I was really prepared for it. I knew this company like the back of my hand. Any question they threw at me, I had it. But believe it or not, I didn't even get through past the second question. I got to the second question, they gave me very example-orientated questions, asking me, okay, if you're in this scenario, what would you do? What would you do in this scenario? And I answered them the most truthful and honest way I knew how. Yeah. And the commercial director was there and he stopped me and says, look, I don't think we can go any further with this interview. And here's me shocked and all getting red and wondering, whoa, it's getting hot in here. To only find out, and he's very honest with me, he's like, look, Sham, you would hate your life if you got this job. And I was like, well, wow.
It's a nice thing to do for the commercial director to come on.
Yeah, look,
not a nice
putting a point on that, listen, that really, I went home very, very traumatized and very, but I respect him because his point was very simple, like, you're a salesman. You would never feel fulfilled in this role. Yeah. And then after the pain and the tears had been wiped away, I really did come to a point of realization that, Yeah,
it's the realization of that's not for you.
As much as I got to the point where I was fed up with telesales. I needed something within that bracket, but just not telesales.
Yeah.
All right, very good, very good. So, from this interview, the worst interview you've had, how did you improve on it? What did you do? Did you change your look? Did you improve your CV? Did you change did your interview skills? Was it any of those factors?
Just interview skills, just made sure I was more thoroughly prepared, just went through more test runs. In terms of interview techniques, just looked over additional resources, looked for places where I could get additional support online, through publications and just take a thorough look to see where I can pick up some extra techniques, really. Looked on YouTube, social networking again, looked at other people's opinions and how interviews have gone for them, how they prepared for the test, the psychometric test. Just did more thorough research, really, and really nailed it. That was the learning curve for me.
Yeah, preparation's key.
I think people underestimate the power of preparation for an interview. I've been to some interviews where it's maybe a group of us, and you see someone come in and you think, do you really want this job? Like, this idea of winging an interview, it's recipe for disaster.
Me personally, I've never winged it because I was genuinely scared of making a fool of myself in front of an employer and then just completely destroying that bridge. Because even if you do go for an interview and you don't get the job, you've still made that bridge then.
Yeah, you've got
so maybe later down the road, if you've got a change of heart or it's something else, then you can always maybe go back and say, can I have another try or something like that. That's my personal...
Preparation is key. For me, I learned, the biggest thing I learned from that interview is stick with what you know.
Yeah.
Stick with what you know. I know obviously there's those people that want to make a career change, and even for them people that want to make a career change, be thoroughly prepared, and you must understand everything about the industry you want to go into, the market, the company, and where the company stands within that market.
Yeah.
And how that market actually works, because I think now that we've kind of been in a more senior role now, I'm actually understanding the corporate elements that are so critical to an employer that an employee needs to bring to the business. Back in the day, I didn't get that. Back in the day, I just thought, okay, come as I am, you take me as I am. But then an employer is looking for more the corporate benefit of this employee. What's this employee going to do in terms of adding value to the business? And if you can't answer that question in a positive way, and if the employer can't go back and say he's going to do that.
Each company has their cause and values, and it's really good to look over what their strategy is, and really know their core values, because that's something that you will impress them with, that you have taken your time to do thorough research into the company and looked at their core values, because they, that's why they set them. It's there for a purpose.
It's there for a purpose for you.
And if you make, that first impression of understanding the core values, then,
you're on your way to success. And finally, to the wonderful people watching this, do you have any advice for anybody going for an interview or crafting a CV?
So, in terms of the CV, I would say make sure every bit of your experience is on that CV.
Yeah.
Make sure it's continuous and there's no gaps, and if there is gaps, you need to be pretty clear of what you've been doing within the gap time, but try not to have any gaps if you can, even if it's just been work experience you've been doing, you need to be putting that on your CV, and not to have pages and pages and pages of CV.
Yeah.
It still needs to be kept quite short, but quite thorough.
Yeah.
In terms of, getting to the point of what you've actually been doing. So the first is the CV that's going to get the foot in the door. So I do feel that plays an important role.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think my biggest advice I started to learn later on in my career is you've got to identify with this, whatever step it is, looking for a new job or whatever. You got to identify in your mind, in your mentality and thinking, is this a job for you or is this a career for you? If it's just a job that you're just going to take for the interim, you just need something to make the ends meet, then there's certain things that can slide under the carpet.
Yeah.
If this is a career for you, there's just certain things that can't slide under the carpet. So by that I mean the preparation. If this is a career for you, you feel okay, now I'm at this point in my life where I need to make a career change, not a job change. If this is just a job, listen, there's things that can slide. But if it's a career, I really do emphasize you have to understand within yourself that I'm ready for this career change, or I'm ready for this new step in a new career with this business or with this company. And by that, you want to understand every little thing about the business. By that, I don't mean you understand all the the owners and the shareholders and the direct. No, understand the business itself. How does the business operate? What is the business? What do they actually do? You gotta almost be part of it before you're a part of it.
Yeah.
You have to see yourself in that business and how you're gonna, and even in your mind, if it's a career change, you got to be able to envisage what is your input going to be to this business. So you can tell that employer or whoever's interviewing you that, look, I'm not coming in to have a joke or have fun. I believe I've come here with these set of skills that will do this for you, that will change this for you, that will do X and Y and Z. And if I'm being in a position now where I am, if I hear someone saying that to me in an interview, automatically I'm like, okay, I like someone like that. They're switched on, they know what they want to do, and they understand that this is a career. I'm here to build something with these guys as well. So, like I said, be part of the business before you are even part of the business.
And that's kind of gearing you towards an interview.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
just try and make the best impression, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Try and make
and
the best impression.
dress smart.
Dress smart.
Dress smart.
Definitely dress smart.
You'll feel
Dress
more
smart.
confident in yourself.
Yeah, it's very much about making an impression and showing the employer that you want to be a part of it and what you can offer them.
And I also suggest that even if you just have an initial telephone interview, because some jobs tend to do either a telephone interview or initial first step is a telephone interview. Even dress smart, even if you're just doing that from home, still dress up smart.
Yeah, psychologically.
When you actually on the phone, you know, having your interview, if you feel the part, you look the part, you'll play the part in the interview. And I feel that, you know,
it can go a long way.
Yeah.
If you feel mentally that you are ready and you are mentally wanting to do that, then I think that makes it
and
much better.
finally, follow your dreams.
Follow your dreams.
Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Follow your dreams. I'll give one tip. This is a secret recipe that I used for a lot of my interviews, if not all of my interviews. I shouldn't give this out, but I will.
No, it's fine.
It's a cheeky one, to be honest. So, every time I apply for the job and they respond to me over email that, okay, we're interested, when can you come for an interview?
Yes.
I never ever reply with an email back.
Right.
I actually call them.
Ooh.
Yeah. I call them.
Shows enthusiasm.
Okay, there's two things I do.
All right.
I call them.
Yep.
Once they've sent me an email, I respond back with a phone call. And in that phone call, what I actually do is almost do a mini interview of them, me interviewing them. So what I actually do when I call them back, okay, thank you, you know, I've been very interested in coming in for an interview, but, you know, just wanted to get a bit of information about you guys and what you guys do. You know, how do you guys actually operate? What you guys... And I get all the information from them that almost put them on the back foot that they're selling the job to me.
Yeah.
Two things it does. It gives me a lot of information to go home and research.
That's true.
Before the interview. And secondly, it shows this individual that, look, I'm here for serious business. I'm here for serious business, and it just gives him that bit of insight. Okay, the person has got a lot of telephone skills. He can, you know, hold a conversation. Is able to control himself and composure and everything. And the last thing I do, even after I've done that phone call, I reply to my email response will either be very early in the morning, or I don't want to say late at night, but nearer the early evening. Two reasons. Early in the morning shows I'm an early bird. I get up early.
You get up early, which shows,
and I think for any employer that's a critical thing. This person
sign.
Punctual. Get up early, 6 a.m., send my email. Yep, I can confirm I'll be there for that interview at this time. This is this. Please send me the address, or please send me whatever. 6 a.m. in the morning. As soon as the employer walks in, opens his email. Ooh, okay. This person's eager. Up at 6 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what they'd be doing, but I like a person like this. So a bit later in the evening shows that, you know, I put some kind of some care and thought in it, and it's still ringing in my mind later in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're my kind of golden tips and rules.
Good. Thank you very much, Curtis. Thank you very much, Sham, for being on the Careers UK